Everybody, BK with the Silver Savage podcast here with another podcast for you guys. So before I get rolling with today's topic, I just want to thank everybody that listened to last week's podcast again. That was straight up from the heart, and I appreciate the opportunity you guys gave me to put it all out there. And I sincerely appreciate all the feedback and comments I got on Facebook, direct messaging, um, just your guys' support, and how many of you said that could relate was inspiring, and again, kind of gives me the motivation and shows me why we do this podcast. Apparently, there's a lot of you out there that deal with similar things, and it's helpful to put it out there, and it seriously helps to know that you're part of a tribe of like-minded individuals. So with that, again, thank you, and we'll keep rolling into today's episode. So obviously by myself, I'm back in my satellite studio, also known as my camper. Um, but Steve is away this weekend. I was away all past week. Was in Kentucky actually, working with the new hospital system. And by the way, if you ever end up in Moorhead, Kentucky, not a lot to do there. I'll be honest. Super nice people though. And for as small as the town is, you find a gym, you find a restaurant, and if by the end of the fourth night, fifth night, the bartender knows what you eat and what you drink, it was a good week. So I'm looking forward to actually going back and working more with this hospital system. They seem very appreciative of everything we did for them. So I'm looking forward to do that. But we did not get to record a podcast in advance, and I'm missing Steve this weekend, so I am again by myself, and wanted to actually answer a question that I got from you guys, our listeners. And some of you know that my background personally is in fitness, so I actually started my schooling pre-med, then pre-physical therapy. I have a secondary major in kinesiology as an undergrad, so that is kind of like the path I went. I had extensive background as a personal trainer and was the head personal training for a large gym here in Maryland, and been personal training pretty much since I don't know the mid '90s. So I have a little bit of experience there, and people are asking me for my ideas and guidelines as far as fitness is concerned. So I'm going to break this podcast into two parts. Hopefully, I can get it all in one episode. If not, this may be a two-parter, but I think I can make it. First of all, discussing the importance of fitness specifically for silver savages such as ourselves, right? So when we talk about men specifically in their 40s or maybe a little bit later, fitness becomes super important. And I'll tell you all the health benefits I'm going to discuss in a second. Vanity goes a long, long way. And I'm saying that because I'll tell you my personal kind of, and people that know me heard me say this before, my perfect revenge, or my ideal revenge in a sense, for all those that bullied me during my teen years while I was fat and out of shape and not athletic, is when I go back home every so often and I run into people that I went to school with, and they are fat, out of shape, and I'll look at them and they'll look at me, and not a word has to be exchanged because they know that I outdid them pretty much on anything in life just because the way I look. So being in shape is obvious in the sense that, okay, this person is accomplished something, because just getting in shape and staying in shape requires certain personality traits that we're going to talk about in a minute that honestly translate into other elements of life as well. So when people see you in shape, they automatically understand that you outdid them, and that is for me the best revenge ever. I don't have to say anything. I know I can take them in a fight. I know I accomplished more. I know I am a better parent. I know I'm a better business person, just because I outdid them at the gym over the past couple of decades. So let's take it back. Already mentioned personality traits, and it is no secret that in order to get in shape, you have to put in the work. There's no way around it. Whatever your sport is, whatever way you decide to do it, whatever your goals are, whether it be increasing muscle mass or running a marathon or if it's a sport specific, you like to play pickleball. I don't even know what pickleball is. I doubt it's a real sport, but if you play pickleball, please don't hate me. Um, but if it's a sport specific, let's say you're a swimmer or let's say you're a cyclist or whatever, and you want to work for that discipline, right? You're gonna have to put in the work, and there's no way around it. It's one of those things that you cannot cheat your way out or in, right? I cannot go one day and say I want the body of an Adonis and just like that, get it. I'm gonna have to put months, if not years, of dedicated work, watching a lot of elements from my training to my nutrition to my sleep, supplementation, to get it right. And in order for me to accomplish that, there's some personality traits I'm gonna have to build up. Think about how often you're gonna work out, right? So if you're gonna work out, an average male in America should apparently train 3 days a week. I'll train 6 to 7. I train every day. Every so often I'll take a day off, and it's typically dictated by a schedule, like let's say a travel day or something. But otherwise, I train every day. And for me to train every day, I need to make the decision to do so. I need to wake up and I need to actually do it, right? So the amount of discipline and consistency that goes into that is tremendous, right? And think about all the bad days you have, right? The days that you didn't feel like getting up. Maybe you're under the weather. Again, I mentioned travel days. There's days that training is just going to be less convenient. And the fact that I still get it done, or hopefully you as well, shows an amazing level of perseverance, right? Overcoming those obstacles. And when you take those personality traits, right, those characteristics that you own over months and years of investing in your own body, those translate to everything else in life. So relationships, business ethics, everything that requires a little bit of discipline, a little bit more of a consistency. How I treat my wife, the fact that I get my wife flowers every Friday. I make sure that I tell her that I love her multiple times a day, right? That consistency and that discipline. I would argue that it is a direct result of me building that personality trait by working out and exercising. So if you want to be a better business person, you gotta do all the mundane little things that you don't like doing, just so your business grows and succeeds. Again, you build those characteristics by exercising and working out. You spend an hour a day exercising, and you will see how those personality traits translate directly to how you do work in the office, how you manage a company, how you work with your team if you work at a company, right? All of that is directly correlated in my mind. So if you spend the time and effort to build your own body and get in shape, you will also build some personality traits that no doubt are going to help you on the other side, or anything else in life, really. Um, the other thing specifically for us, again, I'm going to say more silvers than savages, right, in a sense. So we talk about an age group. Uh, Life takes a toll on you, whether you want to or not. We all dying. From the day we're born, it's just downhill from that point on, right? And how long it will take us to till we get to that final moment, and in what condition we get there, directly relates to our lifestyle, right? The better shape we're in, the likelihood that we're going to live longer, the likelihood that our life quality would be better. It is amazing to me when I see the statistics about obesity in America and all the medical issues that come with it, and yet nobody wakes up. So everything from heart problems, hypertension, diabetes, pre-cancers, uh, joint issues. The amount of people my age that I see walking around with knee braces, elbow braces, and just saying that they can't bend forward to pick something off the ground because they're in pain. That is unbelievable for me. You should not be there at our age. Um, I had my toll. God knows my body took abuse from years of marching in the military with full gears on, jumping out of airplanes, training in martial arts and being in fights and breaking pretty much every bone in my body at one point or another. I had a tumor removed from my spinal cord. So to this day, I do not have proper proprioception in my extremities. And yet, I don't let any of that be an excuse. I work out every day because I want to be able to tie my own shoelaces. I don't want my back, knees, or elbows stopping me from doing that. I want to be able to run around and keep doing all the activities I'm doing. So I don't need heart problems. I don't need diabetes, any of those issues that are going to bring me or bring upon me a demise a lot sooner than I would like. Family history goes a long way. Listen, my father died from a heart attack. His father died from a heart attack. To the best of my knowledge, his father before him. So that's 3 generations straight that I know of. So my goal is not to die of a heart attack. Certainly not at their age. They all died in the mid 50s. I used to joke that I come with an expiration date. I don't want that to be my life story though. So I worked out largely, so I do not have that, and I can live a happy, long life with those I love and those I care about. So again, any kind of ailment or healthy health related issues directly relate to why you should be working out. And lastly, just talk about daily tasks, right? I mentioned things as simple as tying your own shoelaces, right? But think about as a man, right? So we talked about being silver before. Now let's talk about being a savage, being able to change a tire, fixing stuff around the house, right? If you want to pick up your kids, or if you want to get on the ground and play with the kids, you want to toss a ball, you want to play soccer. Um, my kids are very athletic, a lot more than I was at their age, and I want to be able to throw a football with them, and I want to be able to pitch a baseball for them, and I will be able to run with them and play hide and seek with them. And if I am big, fat, and out of shape, I probably wouldn't be able to. So that allows me to do all those things and enjoy life with those I care about, right? But also, on the same token, again, still talking about being a savage and executing tasks, I'm also planning for the one day that I hope never comes, but if I have to protect them, right? If I have to fight somebody, if I have to uh, pick them up and run to shelter, if I have to drag them, if I have to care for them, if I have to pull them out of a car in a car accident, God forbid, right? But what kind of a father would I be if I was so out of shape, so weak, so broken that I couldn't protect my own family? I mean, is there really any worst case scenario for you if you ever needed a drive or reason to get in the gym? That should be it. Look around you, look at your family, look at your friends if you don't have a family, right? And those people that may count on you when the moment comes, will you be able to stand up to the cause and actually do it? Would you be able to help them? Or would you just be staring at them as they are hurting because you just chose, because it is straight out of choice, you chose to be out of shape? So those are the main 3 reasons why I think it's important for everybody to be in shape, but certainly men, and especially as we age, again, just building personality traits that I think translate to anything else in life. Being healthy so we don't die too young and can be enjoy a long, healthy, active life. And then to be able to execute tasks, as I said, anything from the more mundane things, just be the man around the house and, be able to power wash, put up a deck or whatever it is that you need to do, all the way to being the protector that, regardless of the day and age we live in and the gender roles that are being assigned or not assigned, I always will look at myself as a protector. I know most of you listening to it are in the same boat. And by the way, that is not limited to men. If you are a woman listening to this podcast, first of all, thank you. And the second thing, this applies to you just as much. Mama Bear can only be Mama Bear if she's capable of being Mama Bear. And if you let yourself get out of shape, when the moment comes, like I said many times before, we don't rise to the occasion. We fall down to our level of training. And if you never learn self-defense, never learn how to handle a gun, or did not stay in shape, you cannot expect, realistically speaking, to be able to do what it is that needs to be done. So men or women, does not matter. So with that said, that was part number one. I'm going to go into part number two because I'm leaving myself enough time. We talk about the importance. Now let's talk about the how. Listen, at the end of the day, it is very individual, and I will certainly mention that you should all consult a physician to make sure that you don't have anything you shouldn't do, and then consult with a certified trainer, an experienced, trusted individual that you think can help you reach your goals. But goal setting is number one, right? What is your purpose in training? Is it overall fitness? Is it a sport specific? Listen, a lot of guys in our age, I'm generalizing and saying most men are out of shape. But I don't know if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably in better shape than most other men in America. And so, with that in mind, I would assume that you're also practicing for certain sport, be it that you play in a recreational league. I know for me right now, the sport I'm training for is I told my son, who's 10 years old now, for his 13th birthday, we're going to run a marathon together. So we're both training together for a marathon. Aside for the fact that it is an amazing son-father type time because we run, we chat. He's proud of how proud I am of him when he completes a run, and there's no price you can put on the time we spend together. But obviously, we're training for a specific task, right? So we need to get those runs in. So that is my goal at the moment. I teach self-defense, so for me to be able to spar and fight is a goal, right? So I need to make sure that I'll work on explosive strength. I need to make sure that I'll work certain joints and certain movements, certain flexibility that is required for certain moves. So that is my personal goals. What is yours? Once you figure it out, you got to remember that at our age, the training routines that were so popular by us reading, I don't know, Muscle and Fitness and Flex magazine, and I don't know, I can't even remember what else was back in the day, but all these bodybuilding split routines and so forth. That's not what you need right now. And I'm making a generalized guess, but I would say that unless you're a professional bodybuilder, right, you need a more holistic, more all-encompassing approach. So I will leave you with two thoughts that I hope help you design your routine. And as always, just so you know, reach out to me, send me a message, either through the podcast or directly through an email, and I will be more than happy to do a free consultation with you and give you some advice on how to build a routine for you. But that aside, the two things I would say, first of all, is start thinking in terms of hybrid approaches. So a hybrid approach essentially means that you're gonna combine weightlifting and cardiovascular, not on the same day. So unlike what CrossFit tried to do, with CrossFit essentially says that we don't make anybody that's good at one sport. We make people that are good at fitness, and I give them a lot of credit for really getting a lot of people into working out, but there's obviously a lot of issues with CrossFit, which I'm not going to get into at the moment. What hybrid approach says is you're going to take a day of weightlifting, and then the next day you're going to be doing some kind of a cardiovascular activity, and you're going to rotate between the two. Because most people say you cannot have both. You cannot have a muscular physique and work on cardiovascular and get lean and toned. And I say that's not true. I think you can. So, and there's a lot of research coming out, especially in the last couple of years, that supports that heavily. So, concentrate on weightlifting one day and concentrate on cardio the next. Cardio can be whatever you like. If you like a treadmill, run on a treadmill. If you like running outside, going trail running, riding a bike, I don't know, ice skating, kayaking, whatever you like, just go ahead and do that. Keep your heart rate up for a prolonged period of time, and get consistent about doing that every other days. The days in between are your weightlifting day. And as I said, you don't want to do any kind of split routines. So what you want to look is on a whole body approach. If you do it every other day, that should give your muscles enough time to recover to where you can work them out again. Sorry, I really need to work on my English. But obviously, if I went heavy on a muscle group every other day, I would be overtraining pretty quickly, and I want to avoid overtraining. I don't want overtraining is associated with the body unable to recover fast enough, so you're tearing muscle faster than you're building them. And over time, that will cause injuries, either soft tissue, joint injuries, and so forth. So we want to certainly avoid that. So the approach I use, and it works very well for me, and again, doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but give it a try, is what's called the 5x5, 3x8. And it means that if I divide my body into three parts: upper body push, which are my chest, tricep, deltoids muscles, right? Upper body pull, my back, my rear delts, my biceps, right? And then lower body, my legs, right? So for every workout, I'll pick one exercise for each. So let's say bench press, weighted pull-ups, and deadlifts, right? On one of those exercises, I'm going to go heavy. So I'm going to do a 5 sets of 5 on the one exercise. So let's say on the chest press. While the other two exercises, I'm going to go lighter, 3 sets of 8, right? More of a maintenance thing. The next time I work the same, work weightlifting, right? So 2 days later, I'm going to go heavier on a different muscle group, let's say on the pull-ups, and I'm going to stay on the maintenance weight for the chest and legs. And then the last day, obviously, I'm going to work my legs heavy and then lighter on the chest or the press movements and the pull movements. So that way, the muscle I went heavy on, the muscle group I went heavy on, gets a whole week to recover till I go heavy again, where the days I lifted in between, I'm still working them, but not to the extent that I'm creating any significant muscular damage, so I can let them recover. The other thing I do is I don't do the same 3 exercises every day. So for example, if my heavy leg day is deadlifts, on the lighter leg days, maybe one of those would be squats and one of those would be lunges or something like that, right? Same thing with upper body push. If my heavy movement is chest press with a bar, then maybe the lighter days would be military press and or dips, right? So still press movement, still similar muscle groups, but different angles, different kind of loads. So again, kind of stimulating the muscle growth without keep tearing the same exact primary muscles all the time. So that also seems to work really well for me. Again, just one approach to keep in mind. There are other type of programs that you can use, but really what I wanted to plant in your mind is A, get in the gym, B, start thinking hybrid approach, so fitness, for cardio and weightlifting. By the way, if you have a unique need, so for example, for me, it's self-defense and fighting, right? So you got to factor that into your workouts as well, right? I always train for some sort of a tactical fitness. So for me, there's a day a week I teach a HAVA class, and on that day I actually take the HAVA class with my students. So that is programmed into my weekly routine, so I can account for it as well. So again, I'll be more than happy to help all of you. But what I want you to live with is get in the gym, do something. Listen, at the very least, go out for a walk with your missus. It's going to help your relationship. It's going to help your fitness. It's a no-lose situation. But yeah, go and invest in yourself, invest in your health, invest in your fitness. It's going to make you live longer and better. And really, it's going to carry over for every other element of your life as well. So I hope you guys found this beneficial. And until next time, stay savage.